In this episode, I'm going to show you how timing is everything in Tai Chi, just like it is in life. So if you've ever wondered how you coordinate your arms and legs, stick around because I'm going to show you all you need to know in this lesson. Hi everybody, it's David-Dorian Ross and welcome to day number 44 of 100 Days of Tai Chi, a video series in which we're learning the traditional Yang family Tai Chi long form. In today's lesson, we're going to cover movement number 50, kick with the left heel. That's actually one of the simpler kicks that we do in this routine, which is always good news, but it's going to leave us plenty of time to cover the viewer question of the day, which has to do with the timing of the movement wave hands like clouds. Now, before we go any farther, let me just say that if this is your first time here and you're a beginner who wants to learn Tai Chi at home, or if you're a more advanced student who just wants some tips and insights to complement the other training that you're doing with a teacher, then you can get started right now. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button, and when the little bell icon pops up, click that too, because that notifies you whenever there's a new lesson. And then you won't miss another episode. Now let's go ahead and dive into today's lesson, kick with left heel, and all that's going to come up in just a second. Today's movement is called kick with left heel, and it really is one of the simplest and most direct movements we learn in this entire form. Now watch me one time. We are coming from the end of Twin Peaks Enter the Ear, box both ears. That's it. That's the whole movement. All right, let's break that down. Let's take a look at the footwork first. At the end of box both ears, we are in a bow step, but we're at a diagonal across the line. Now the front toe is pointing forward, which means that relative to the lane of travel, in other words, where most of the movements have gone in this whole routine, that's what I call the lane. Relative to that lane of travel, it is cutting 45 degrees across that lane, and this left toe is pointing in that same 45-degree angle. Okay, now what's going to happen is the back foot, the left foot, is simply going to step up to it. T-step, lift, and extend, kicking out. Right? That's it. That's the whole movement. One more time. I'm in a bow step at the end of Twin Peaks Enter the Ears. I simply shift my weight more forward, step up, T-step. Now the knee points straight down the lane. The foot comes up, extends out. Kick with left heel. That's it. Now let's take a look at what the hands do. The hands are also doing something very, very simple. They're starting at the end of Twin Peaks Enter the Ears. And remember how they got there? They swept past the hips and arced around a big sort of semicircle on both sides, as though entering into the ears from both sides here. The knuckles are slightly turned in. Now, as I begin to shift my weight forward, I'm simply going to reverse that circle. I'm going to go back the same pathway, coming down past the hips and crossing at the wrists. Now, as soon as I start the reversal here, my fists release and I open up my palms. Now I'm reversing the circle. Come all the way around. I cross my wrists so that the right hand is closer to me and the left hand is on the outside. Then, as I begin to do the kick, they both turn palm out, and here's that swinging door effect, and open out again. Since I'm kicking with the left foot straight down the lane, the left hand is right over the top of that left leg and left foot, and the right hand is 90 degrees away from it. One more time. Here is the Twin Peaks Enter the Ears. They reverse the circle all the way around, crossing at the wrists, turn palms out and open like swinging doors. Got it? All right, we're going to do this one more time along with a camera flip, and then we'll be done. And that's movement number 50. Great, we've got one more kick in this section, and that's coming up tomorrow. Now, let's take a look at today's viewer question of the day. Today's viewer question of the day comes from Claire, who's actually one of my students in the online Tai Chi Fit Academy. And she asks if I could go over the timing of the movement wave hands like clouds. And I just love this kind of really straightforward technical kind of question because we can have a lot of fun with it and actually learn something about all of Tai Chi from looking at one movement. Now, there's an overarching kind of principle involved in Tai Chi called the hands and the arms should all start together at the same time and end together at the same time. The upper and the lower must coordinate is part of the principle here. So watch me one time when I do wave hands like clouds, and then I'm going to tell you the specific timing here. Single whip. Etc., etc. You could do as many as you wanted. You could do them cross country if you wanted to, but that's the same pattern with every step here. So let's take a look. Let's break this apart a little bit. What we have in the footwork is a continuous side step. So I start off with my feet apart, and they go together. It's a narrow gap and a wide gap, and a narrow gap and a wide gap. During this side step here, when you're stepping out, the toe touches the ground first and then go flat. As I do this step, my arms are also creating two asynchronous circles. The coordination of the hands and feet follows an old Tai Chi principle, which in Chinese is called Tong Yi Dui Li. Tong Yi Dui Li, which means sometimes we move together and sometimes we move apart. In this case, the together is as I step closer, I am moving my hands in the same direction. But as I step farther, I'm moving my hands in the opposite direction. Does that make sense? So this is apart, this is together. And this is a basic principle. Together, apart, together. This covers actually almost every movement we learn, and this is part of the timing of every movement. The only thing is that you have to learn this individually, movement, to know when you're apart and when you're together. All right, now, when do you take that step? That is the $1,000 question here. This is really part of the question that Claire was asking. In each circle of the hands, there is a corner, a midpoint, and another corner, right? I'm coming from this corner here, passing to the midpoint, and progressing to the other corner, right? Not too wide, just 10 and 2. We talked about this before. By the way, if you haven't seen the lesson where we talked about this, I'm going to link it up here. I'm going to send a little card out that you can click and go back and watch some of those other lessons to remember where we studied some of these other principles, right? In this case, 10 and 2 here, that's just the corners that we're going to. So I'm traveling across. My step begins roughly as soon as I pass the midpoint. So here I am circling my hands in this direction. So I'm going to be stepping in. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Here my hands are roughly in the center. Step in. I start from the corner and I'm going back this way. Roughly in the center, step out. When I pass the midpoint, step in. As I pass the midpoint, step out. And that's the coordination of this movement. Timing is everything. Now, one reason why this is so critical is if you take the aspect of Tai Chi as a martial art, timing is everything in the martial arts. If I'm out of position here, I have no ability to get stable and exert leverage. Tai Chi as a martial art is all about being able to be in the right position at the right moment to exert leverage. If I'm out of position, if I'm too far away, I'm not really exerting leverage. And if they're stronger and they're more rooted, this does nothing, right? So I have to be in exactly the right place at the right time to exert leverage in just the right way. If I am too early arrived, again, I've got no stability down there, so any effort that I put forward here is probably not going to be effective. So timing is very important. The key to the timing in Tai Chi is the principle of Tong Yi Dui Li. Sometimes you have to move all coordinated. Sometimes you have to move out of sync, sometimes together, sometimes apart. If you have a question about any of the movements in the form that we're learning or any of the principles of Tai Chi, all you have to do is write it in the comments section down below there. I love these kinds of questions. I think that it adds so much to our lessons. And in fact, I'm going to make that our question of the day. So here we are at movement number 50. We are, for all intents and purposes, halfway through the Yang style long form. Of all the movements that we've done so far, which movements do you still not feel comfortable with the timing, right? So if you've got one or two movements that you say, I would really like to go back over the timing, write that down in the comment section, and we'll turn that into another question of the day and another lesson. It'd be great. Now, one last time, if you're brand new to this series, if this is your first time on this channel, and you want to learn Tai Chi at home, please, this is a wonderful opportunity. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. The little bell next to it just means that you'll be notified every time I put up a new lesson, and you'll never miss another episode. Also, for those of you who have been following it, oh my gosh, I'm falling in love with you so much. Thank you for all of your questions and comments. Thank you for all the sharing. I didn't say much about that in the last couple of episodes, but I want to remind you that when you hit the share button, you can send it directly to somebody that you know and say, hey, take a look at this. Or you can post it on your favorite social media platform. And I really do appreciate when you do that. It brings a lot of new people to see what we're doing, and that's a great thing. Tomorrow we have another lesson. And in the meantime, I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to share my Tai Chi with you. I really appreciate that. Have a wonderful evening and a great day tomorrow, and I'll see you in the next lesson.